Dealing with a narcissist can be very challenging, but you may not know that they can behave very, 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 very immaturely. So look, narcissism can stunt emotional growth, and emotional growth happens during childhood. So it's really based on childhood trauma. So childhood trauma can leave long-lasting psychological implications that can manifest into adulthood, and it can influence various aspects of our lives. So childhood trauma, such as neglect, witnessing violence, physical, mental, or sexual abuse, can lead to narcissistic tendencies, and it's not a laughing matter. So childhood trauma can cause some very serious adverse psychological disorders in adults. So if a child is repeatedly subjected to traumatic experiences, their sense of self gets impaired, and they grow trust issues. As they grow up, they might develop a poor self-image. They might also struggle to maintain healthy boundaries. So in some cases, childhood trauma can be attributed to the development of narcissistic traits in adults. If you want to get more information about childhood trauma and narcissism, you can go to themindsjournal.com. So look, their biggest fear is abandonment. We all have abandonment fears. We don't want to be left. Who wants to be left? So a narcissist, they worry about this. And that's one of the reasons they want to create control in all aspects of their life. They're going a little too far with the control, but that is the reason. And so oftentimes in narcissistic relationships, they are most likely going to discard you before you have a chance to do so. And that's so that they can reject you and you not reject them. So if you do discard them, you need to understand they're going to retaliate with the smear campaign. They'll talk to family, close friends, even your coworker, show up at your home, at your job. They may put a, video of you on the dark web. They may, call your work, get you fired, try to get you out your house, try to make you lose money. They're self-centered, they're entitled, they're attention-seeking individuals, and they're frustrating and they're very, very draining to deal with. So whether you have a colleague or a friend or a family member or a significant other who fits the description, you need to understand how to navigate these relationships. So in today's video, we're going to look at the characteristics of an immature narcissist and provide strategies for effectively dealing with them. So look, this immature narcissist, they are challenging, both personally and professionally. You may have some at work. They're characterized by their self-centeredness, their lack of empathy, and their constant need for admiration. Yes, they like to be admired. It's important to approach the situation with professionalism and act as their behavior can be disruptive and detrimental to a team or organization, and that's in the work circumstance. So I just want to share with you some common characteristics or ways immature narcissists deal with things. So they're not going to accept responsibility for anything they've done. So they'll blame someone else. They will say, I didn't have a choice. If you hadn't done this, then I wouldn't have done that. They will pretend that they don't know what you're talking about. Amnesia all of a sudden. They'll recite the good things they've done, but I've done all this and this and that for you. They're going to cry. They're going to play the victim. Now, everything they did to you, you supposedly did to them. They're crying because of what they did to you and get mad at you for it because they're dealing with the consequences of their behavior. They'll change the subject. They'll try to charm you. They'll minimize what they did. They'll hide. They like to run, so they'll run on the way. They'll ignore you, ignore the problem. They'll throw a 2-year-old tantrum. You might see a 43-year-old woman throwing things, acting like a damn fool, or a 55-year-old man doing the same. These tactics, they use these to avoid responsibility and to manipulate and to control other people. So they're going to blame. They're going to make excuses. They're going to pretend. They're going to seek credit for stuff they don't need credit for. They're going to play the victim. That is their go-to strategy. They're going to deny. They're going to attack. They're going to distract you. They're going to use their wonderful tactic of charming, how they got you in the relationship in the first place, that damn charm. They're going to minimize. They're going to withdraw. They're going to stonewall. They'll turn their back on you when you're talking to them and act like you're not speaking. They'll be on the phone with you and just not say a word while you're talking. No response. They're going to act out. They, will say, well, since you did this, then I have to go do this, something 20 times worse. Yeah, because you hurt my feelings. They're going to blame others when things go wrong. They're going to lie. They love to lie. They do this to get out of uncomfortable situations and conversations. They'll call you names or tell you, something to make you insecure about yourself. They'll, they have an inability to control their impulses. So they're going to be reckless out there in the streets. So look, they need attention. They like to bully others when they don't get what they want. They deny their part in conflict. They attack others. They like to engage in harmful defense mechanisms such as alcohol abuse, sex addiction, gambling addiction, food addictions, and many addiction you can pick up, they might use as, an escape. So dealing with an immature narcissist is going to be crucial for you to set boundaries and your expectations. And I'm going to say that again. Have some expectations for yourself, how you wish to be treated. If they veer from that, then there should be consequences. If they don't care about the consequences, that's when you need to All right. So you need to be assertive and let them know what is not acceptable behavior. This can help, in a professional relationship if you're at work. So you protect yourself and others from the negative effects of their behavior. It can be helpful to provide constructive feedback to these narcissists, but you got to be careful with it. I'm saying caution, 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 because they're sensitive to criticism. You got to frame that feedback in a way that focuses on the impact of their behavior and how it can be improved rather than attacking their behavior, because they won't hear it. They don't like to acknowledge things that need to be improved or fixed. You have to maintain the boundaries. You have to when dealing with an immature narcissist. It is also going to be important for you to seek support. If you're in a work environment, seek support from your colleagues or your supervisors, because they can help you. They can provide guidance and assistance in managing the situation. So you got to remember to prioritize your own well-being, okay? Because oftentimes we're doing this and this and this and that and bending over backwards for this one and that one, but take some time for yourself. It's going to be necessary to protect yourself from the negative effects of their behavior. So in dealing with an immature narcissist, again, you got to, approach the situation with caution. Caution, caution, caution. Some empathy, okay? Some empathy. Understanding their deep-rooted insecurities and where all of this is coming from, the fragile self-esteem. It can help when navigating their challenging behavior. So you don't want to let someone else's behavior begin to affect your own mental health. It's just, no, okay? You need to take care of yourself. So when you're in one of these relationships with an immature person, there's a few things that you can do to ease the situation. So I'm going to share with you a few tips. Some work, some don't. Depends on the person, situation. Communicate. Talk about the issue. Share how their words, how their actions make you feel, and ask them to be more sensitive in the future. Now, they don't like to acknowledge what they've done. So you may need to repeat this conversation more than once. Over and over again. Yeah. So it's going to take time for them to learn new emotional patterns. So they often, again, won't accept responsibility for their behavior, but you can try. And so when you do that, try to stay positive. Recognize, if they have made an effort to change their behavior, and let them know that you see them. You see them. You recognize their effort. So adjust. You can also adjust your expectations within reason, of course. Not everyone will change, but you can change how you respond to the people. You can learn their patterns and find ways to work around the problem behaviors, especially if you're in a work environment. Now, in a personal environment, you don't have to put up with anything you don't want to put up with, okay? Set boundaries. So look, you may not be able to smooth out this relationship with an emotionally immature person on your own. So if that's the case, look for someone who can help you through it. If the emotionally immature person in your life is a coworker, try to speak to somebody in human resources about the situation. They might be able to help you find more constructive ways to work together. So people can grow and can change, but with narcissists, it is difficult since they don't like to acknowledge their own immature behavior. Because, there are some narcissists that believe they know it all, but they don't need to change. They're not hearing you. They're better than you. They don't need to listen to you. They'll do what they want to do. Okay. So if someone you care about is emotionally immature, you may recommend therapy so they can address their underlying childhood abuse. Okay. Because once they are able to look at that abuse, maybe they will be able to change their behavior. Focus on that. So if the person doesn't want to change, then you talk to a therapist about how you can care for yourself while dealing with this emotionally immature narcissist. So to stay connected and to continue this discussion, please like, subscribe, and comment to this platform, because your engagement and your shared experiences contribute to building a supportive community. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Together, we can empower ourselves in handling difficult personalities with both grace and resilience.